I never thought one night could change everything. One moment, I was just a nobody, someone the world barely noticed. The next, my entire life exploded into chaos. I thought I could outrun the past, that if I just kept my distance, the pain, the mistakes, and the memories would stay buried forever. But fate had other plans. She found me. Not by accident, no, she came for me. The first time I saw her after rebirth, I avoided her. I told myself it was better this way. No more broken promises, no more lies. But she wasn't ready to let go. That night, everything went wrong. She smashed my car right in front of me. Glass shattered like my carefully built walls. And then, as if to punish me or beg for forgiveness, she did something no one expected. She offered herself in return. I stood frozen, heart pounding, questions flooding my mind. Why now? Why me? I wanted to run, to disappear again. But something in her eyes held me there, something raw, desperate, and hauntingly familiar. I thought I knew her story. I thought I understood what had happened between us. But I was wrong. So wrong. Because beneath that fiery act, beneath the rage and the pain, was a secret that could destroy us both. And I was about to discover it the hard way. My name is Ayan, and before all this chaos, I was just an ordinary guy trying to build an ordinary life. I had a steady job, a small circle of friends, and a past I wished I could erase. 5 years ago, I thought I was finally free. Free from the mistakes I'd made. Free from the people who had hurt me. I thought I could start over. But life has a cruel way of reminding you that some stories never truly end. Back then, there was her, Zara, the heroine of my past, though I never wanted to admit it out loud. She was the one I tried to forget the most. Zara and I were never ordinary. From the moment we met, there was a spark neither of us could ignore. She was fiery, fearless, and wild, everything I was not. I was calm, careful, the kind of man who kept his emotions locked away. We were like fire and water, clashing and blending all at once. She had this way of making me feel alive, even when the world was closing in around me. For a while, I thought maybe she was the one who could finally break down my walls. But Zara had her secrets, dark shadows that followed her everywhere. I didn't want to see them. I told myself I could save her, that love was enough to heal all wounds. In truth, it wasn't. She burned bridges and broke promises. I stayed because I believed in us, in the what-if that whispered to me in the quiet moments. But every time I reached out, she pulled away further, until one day she disappeared entirely. I thought that was the end. I thought she was gone for good. But she wasn't. After everything, after all the pain, fate decided we weren't finished. I was given a second chance, reborn into a new life, but with one impossible rule: avoid Zara at all costs. I thought I could do it. I thought I could keep my distance and live the quiet life I always dreamed of. But the past has a way of catching up, especially when the person you ran from isn't willing to let go. Zara wasn't just a ghost from my past. She was a storm waiting to explode. And this time, I wasn't sure if I was strong enough to survive it. I thought I was safe, that by keeping my distance, I could escape the past. But one evening changed everything. I was walking home after a long day when I saw her, Zara, waiting at the corner like she belonged there. Her eyes caught mine immediately, sharp and burning with something I couldn't quite place. I turned the other way, heart pounding, but fate wasn't done playing its cruel game. A few days later, I got a call from a mutual friend I hadn't heard from in years. He hesitated before telling me what he'd seen. "Zara, she's back in the city," he said quietly, "and she's asking about you." That night, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "We need to talk. It's about us." My hands trembled. Was this a trap? A chance for closure? Or something worse? I ignored the message, but the next day I found a note slipped under my door. No words, just a photo of my car smashed to pieces. And beneath it, a single sentence: "You can't run forever." Panic mixed with something darker: anger, confusion. I wanted to confront her, demand answers, but what scared me most was how much I still cared. Later that night, I found her sitting on the hood of my wrecked car. The city lights cast long shadows, and her face was unreadable. "I told you," she said softly. "You can't hide." I wanted to ask why. Why now? But the words stuck in my throat. Instead, she did something no one would expect. She looked at me, eyes wide, and whispered, "If you don't come back to me, I'll do whatever it takes." The threat wasn't cruel, it was desperate. Suddenly, the lines between past and present blurred. What was once a simple rule, to avoid her, became impossible to follow. Because this time, she wasn't just waiting. She was demanding a reckoning. And I realized the past I thought I'd escaped wasn't done with me yet. I couldn't sleep that night. My mind was a whirlwind of questions, doubts, and memories I thought I had buried deep. Why now? I kept asking myself. Why did she have to come back like this? So violent, so desperate. I kept staring at that smashed car photo on my phone. The glass shattered in jagged patterns, like the walls I thought I'd built around my heart. But the real fracture wasn't the car. It was everything Zara represented. Was I imagining things? Was this a twisted game or a cry for help? I didn't know where she ended and the past began anymore. I tried to push the thoughts away, but they clung to me like a shadow. At work, I found my mind drifting, every noise making me jump. The silence in my apartment was unbearable. Too loud with memories I couldn't shake. I debated calling her, just to hear her voice, to understand what she wanted. But the fear stopped me. What if she's changed? I wondered. Or what if she's even more dangerous than before? One evening, unable to bear the silence, I finally dialed her number. It rang once, twice. Then she picked up. "Why are you doing this, Zara?" My voice cracked. There was a pause, then her breath, shaky but steady. "Because you left me. Because I needed you to see me, to feel something." I swallowed hard. "You broke me first." Her laugh was bitter. "Maybe, but you walked away. You avoided me like I was poison." I was trying to protect myself. "From what?" she whispered. "From love? From pain? Or from the truth?" The truth. Those words stabbed deeper than I expected. I wanted to believe she was just hurt, just scared. But something inside me screamed that this was bigger, darker. Days passed. I caught myself watching my phone, waiting for a message or a sign. Every vibration made my heart leap, then sink with disappointment. I asked friends about her, hoping to hear she'd moved on, that this was a one-time outburst. "No," one friend said quietly. "She's changed. Or maybe she's lost." That scared me more than anything. One night, I found a note slipped under my door again. This time, it wasn't a threat. It was a poem. Beautiful, heartbreaking, and filled with pain. "I'm the storm you can't outrun, the shadow you hide from. Come back before I'm undone." Her words wrapped around my chest like chains. I realized then it wasn't just about her needing me, it was about me needing her too, despite everything, despite the damage. But did that mean I was weak? Or was it hope? Hope that maybe, just maybe, we could fix what was broken. I didn't know the answer. All I knew was that the past wasn't done with me, and neither was Zara. I thought the worst was over, that maybe, just maybe, we could face this mess and find some kind of peace. But life had other plans. The day started like any other. I was restless, haunted by Zara's words and the mess she'd left behind. I decided to find out the truth for myself. I needed answers. I followed her, carefully at first, watching from a distance as she moved through the city like a ghost caught between worlds. She didn't notice me, or so I thought. She stopped at a small, run-down cafe tucked away in a forgotten alley. I hesitated, but went inside. That's when I saw him. A man I'd never seen before, but the way Zara looked at him. It wasn't fear. It wasn't anger. It was something else, something terrifying. They spoke quietly, their conversation full of tension and urgency. I strained to hear, but the words were just out of reach. Then the man handed her a small envelope. She slipped it into her jacket without a word and left. Curiosity overwhelmed me. I slipped into the cafe after she left and asked the waiter about the man. His expression changed, half fear, half warning. "That's Kieran," he said quietly. "He's dangerous, and if Zara's involved with him, you're in trouble." My heart stopped. I knew Kieran's name. He was a criminal, someone with power and secrets that could ruin lives. I had to confront Zara, but before I could, my phone buzzed with a message. "You don't know the whole story. Meet me tomorrow, midnight, the old bridge." That night, I barely slept. Every thought was a jigsaw puzzle with missing pieces. When I arrived at the bridge, Zara was already there, looking different, softer somehow, but with the same fierce eyes. She took a deep breath, then dropped the bombshell. "Kieran isn't just some criminal," she said. "He's the reason I left you, and the reason I'm here now." I wanted to shout, to demand explanations, but she held up a hand. "I had no choice. He threatened me, my family. I ran to protect you, but I couldn't stay away." Her confession shattered the last of my certainty. I thought I knew the enemy. Turns out the real danger was closer than I imagined. "I'm trapped," she whispered, "and if I don't do what he says, he'll destroy everything I love, including you." The weight of her words crushed me. I looked into her eyes and saw fear, the same fear I'd felt all those years ago. And suddenly, I realized this wasn't just our past coming back to haunt us. This was a fight for survival. I never imagined the day would come when I'd stand face to face with the man who haunted Zara's every move, Kieran. It was the night I decided I couldn't run anymore. I had to know the truth, no matter how dark it was. Zara and I agreed to meet at an abandoned warehouse on the edge of the city, a place Kieran used as his base. The air was thick with tension, and my heart pounded like a drum I couldn't silence. When Kieran appeared, he wasn't what I expected. Not some hulking brute or cold-faced villain. No, he was calm, almost charming, with eyes that promised danger behind every word. "You're the one she's been hiding from," he said, voice smooth like poison. I swallowed the fear tightening my throat. "What do you want from her?" He smiled, a cold, cruel smile. "What I want doesn't matter. What matters is what she owes me." Zara stepped forward, her hands trembling but her voice steady. "Leave him out of this, Kieran. He's done nothing to you." Kieran's gaze shifted to me. "That's where you're wrong. He's part of the debt, too." I blinked. "Debt? What debt?" Zara's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't look away. "Years ago, I made a deal with Kieran to protect my family. It was supposed to be temporary, but the cost was more than I could imagine." "What kind of deal?" I demanded. Kieran chuckled darkly. "Let's just say I helped her disappear. And now she's paying me back." I looked at Zara, feeling the weight of betrayal crush me. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I was scared," she whispered. "Scared you'd hate me. Scared I'd lose you." I took a step closer, heartbreaking. "We could have faced this together." Kieran laughed, cutting through the moment like a knife. "Too late for that. She belongs to me now." Suddenly, he pulled out a gun, aiming it at Zara. Time slowed. Without thinking, I lunged forward, knocking the weapon aside. The fight exploded. Shouts, struggle, desperation. In that chaos, Zara's scream shattered the night. I grabbed her, pulling her close. "Run!" I shouted. We fled into the darkness, hearts pounding, breath ragged. As we escaped, I looked at her and saw not the woman I thought I knew, but someone fighting battles deeper than I ever imagined. And I realized, no matter the secrets, no matter the danger, I couldn't leave her behind. Because sometimes love isn't just about holding on, it's about fighting, together. We barely made it out of the warehouse. The cold night air hit us like a wave of reality after the chaos. Zara leaned heavily on me, her breath shaky but relieved. For the first time in years, the walls she'd built around herself seemed to crack, just enough for me to see the scared woman beneath the fierce facade. "We can't run forever," I said softly, brushing the hair from her face. She nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I'm tired of hiding. I want to be free." But freedom wasn't easy. Kieran was still out there, powerful, ruthless, and hungry for control. We knew the fight wasn't over. Over the next days, we worked together. Carefully, cautiously. I reached out to people I trusted, people who owed me favors. We planned, strategized. Zara confessed everything she'd kept buried for years. The threats, the debts, the lies. Each story cut deep, but also brought us closer. "I'm sorry for everything," she whispered one night as we sat watching the city lights from my apartment. "For running away, for dragging you into this mess." I shook my head. "You didn't choose this alone. We're in it together now." It wasn't perfect. Trust was fragile, and sometimes shadows of the past would creep in. But for the first time, I believed in a future where we faced the darkness side by side. Then came the day Kieran's empire started to crumble. Thanks to evidence Zara had secretly gathered and a few well-placed allies, the police moved in. Kieran was arrested in a dramatic raid that made headlines. As I watched the news, a strange mix of relief and exhaustion washed over me. The nightmare was ending, but so much had changed. Zara turned to me, eyes clear and steady. "I'm ready now, ready to live." I smiled, feeling a warmth I hadn't felt in years. "Then let's start." We rebuilt slowly. Friendship first, then something deeper. No grand declarations, no false promises. Just two broken people trying to heal together. But as peaceful as life seemed, I couldn't shake a lingering thought. A message arrived that night on my phone. No sender, no words, just a single photo. It was a car, smashed and broken, the exact same car that had been wrecked months ago, and beneath it, a new sentence. "This isn't over." I looked up at Zara, her eyes searching mine. "We thought it was," she said quietly. But deep down, I knew, sometimes, the people we think we've left behind and the shadows we believe we've escaped have a way of coming back. Because some stories never really end.